You with him. All right.
is
You almost got me.
that
Did
your
you
is that your
did you
favorite
get me?
song? Uh,
No,
Opinion.
it's not on my running playlist.
Old Tim McGraw fan.
I was singing the Nelly part, but
That was definitely not the Nelly part.
was it? Oh no, yeah, Tim McGraw did the chorus. My bad. My bad. What a
What a
time, bro.
what a throwback. We had Nelly and Tim McGraw on the same song.
That was I think that was peak.
They're
That
gonna
was
look back at that in the
childhood.
annals of history and be like,
The anals?
the annals of history, and they're gonna be like that was the time to be alive. We want to go back to that.
Absolutely. Before TikTok.
Somebody else who had a really good time. I'm sure a lot of these guys had a good time around then. Uh, Guys, it was Black Monday this week.
No, he said it. I
I
didn't
said
say
it.
it.
You thought about it. As they call Black Monday. It was the firing of all the head coaches now that the regular season is done, although most of the firings happened before the season's end. Before the season's end, you had Frank Reich, who was in Carolina, Josh McDaniels, who was in Las Vegas. You had Brandon Staley, who was in Los Angeles. And those were some pretty big names, guys who have been around in the league for a while. Brandon Staley, that was his first head coaching gig, but those guys had been gone long before this week hit. And then we get to this week, and everybody knew a guy up in Washington who's been around for a while, who deserves some respect in his career, but we knew he was going to be gone, and he is. Ron Rivera has been fired as the Washington Commanders head coach. He's no longer there. Most likely going to be done in the NFL. I wouldn't expect to see him back. Would you, Tybo?
Just elsewhere or like back with the team in
As
a
a head
different
coach,
capacity or
I would
no.
maybe as like an advisor, potentially something like that. But as a head coach, no, I wouldn't expect that myself.
I mean I don't know how old he is, but he's just been around for forever and there's already like a youth movement going on, so I don't see him head coaching anywhere realistically, man.
Ron Rivera is 62 years old.
Yeah.
One of
Hang
the
it up.
younger guys, one of the younger guys on the list, I would say. Frank Reich's up there in age. Ron's there. You've got some older guys. You've got Bill Belichick and you've got Pete Carroll in the NFL. Both have been fired. If you're on audio platforms, that was quote fingers that I just put up there. Both Pete Carroll with the Seattle Seahawks and Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots have mutually parted ways. Uh, Neither one of them wanted to stop coaching. I am told I've heard, and it came from Mina Kimes, who's a massive Seattle fan, that Pete Carroll did not want to step down. He was asked to resign, or he was told that he would either need to retire or be fired. And he could stay on the team as an advisory role, but he would no longer be the head coach. Um, and Pete, I don't think really wanted to leave Seattle, especially going anywhere else, because he's in his 70s and he doesn't have much time coaching left anyways. So that was not
I
a mutual parting of ways.
I didn't quite realize he was older than Ron Rivera, but
Yeah, he
I
doesn't look it. He looks pretty spry for
also
his
forget
age.
that this is like his second stint in the NFL. Like
That it
he
is.
was in the NFL, left and came back.
Won championships in both NCAA and in the NFL. He
Legendary.
should go down as one of the best head coaches in football history.
Absolutely. Both
But
of
yeah,
both of
he's
these men have had fantastic careers. But Bill's looking to coach elsewhere, right? I'd like to see Bill coach elsewhere just to see.
yeah. Bill is going to coach elsewhere. There's a lot of rumors of some places he may go. Um, Mainly, Washington and Atlanta are the two. The Chargers have been mentioned as well, and I think they'd probably be the better fit overall. Well, probably Atlanta's the best fit, but a lot of people feel the Chargers are the best fit overall for some reason.
For just for Bill's style, I don't. I
Well,
mean,
because he
I
can
don't get
marry
it.
himself to a quarterback. He now doesn't at all have to worry about quarterback play that has plagued him since Tom Brady decided to leave the Patriots. Because he's always had a good defense, and that's one thing that he can do is you can easily turn around a defense much easier than you can turn around an offense if you don't have a quarterback. And so everybody says take the Chargers job because you you've got the quarterback set and you can figure everything else out. The issue with that is that may be true that he has a quarterback, but the Chargers have an aging roster. They are over the cap space, and they have um, not a whole lot of picks to actually help them rebuild or picks that are in the best
Look,
spots to be able to
regardless
gather
of any
those.
of that stuff, dude, if Belichick decides to marry himself to Justin Herbert, he's going to be well, what the Chargers have already been with Philip Rivers, just a perpetual like playoff appearance team, and they're not going to get deep into the playoffs. They're not going to get to Super Bowls. They're going to be mid, like they've always been. I, th you know, I think either one of Washington or Atlanta would be a much better fit than Los Angeles. I maybe fit, or I'm just thinking that would be where I would want to go as a head coach, and I think Bill Belichick's good enough to work with a lot of different tools that you give him. So
I think Atlanta or Washington is the easier pick. You've got a guy
absolutely,
in 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 Washington. I don't know how good Sam Howell is, but they can really fix and alleviate a lot of those issues. The
he's
defensive side is
Bill's had
31st.
Jacoby Brissett before. Jacoby Brissett, if
Yeah,
anything, works fine in a system where they have weapons that he can distribute to. So
you need to fix the offensive line and you need to turn around the defense, and hey, you're kind of ready to go. Now the issue is what happens with Eric Bieniemy, all of that stuff. Does Eric Bieniemy not get looked at for that job? Who knows? There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. I think that's a decent position for him to
Bieniemy to
go to.
Atlanta, man. Let me see that,
But
please.
whoever Mike Vrabel, who was fired in Tennessee, Bill Belichick, uh, whoever Eric Bieniemy, Atlanta is probably
Ben
the most.
Johnson.
Ben Johnson, Atlanta is probably the most promising looking team that is open for a head coaching position right now. And we've talked about it before, but that defense is a mid tier defense, and that's not a slight, right? Like being middle of the pack in a defense that's always on the field by the numbers, you're middle of the pack. That's pretty good. You keep them off the field an extra 5 to 8 minutes per game. That defense looks a whole lot better. They don't even
Push it
need
top 12, top 10.
they don't even necessarily need a better quarterback. The scheme is going to be more important to start with than getting the quarterback, but they're also going to have the ability to go out and get one. It's possible that the Bears are looking to trade Justin Fields away and go for Caleb Williams. Like that's going to be a bad idea for the Bears, but also that just whoever gets Justin Fields, as long as you have a good coaching, you're going to be fine. And Atlanta may be that spot for him and for whoever wants to reinvent themselves.
Bears in perpetual turmoil. I'm all about it.
Shocker. Absolute shocker. There was the other one we talked about it. Mike Vrabel, he was fired in Tennessee. My guess behind that decision for the Tennessee Titans was simply for the fact that they are going into a rebuild, and Mike Vrabel did not want to be a part of that. There's some talk about communication issues between Mike Vrabel and the
In
front
terms of
office, but
what? Like what? There was they haven't really built much, so like what are they rebuilding?
yeah, I mean, yeah, they didn't build much, but they also weren't a poorly built team. They always had a good defense. You had a young Derrick Henry who was always able to go, even though Ryan Tannehill wasn't that great of a quarterback, like you did at one point have AJ Brown that you also traded away. The GM has screwed everything up. Mike Vrabel did build a very strong and significant team to be able to compete. And the GM kind
Yes.
of blew. I said kind of compete. I wasn't talking about Super Bowls. Okay.
Well,
They did make it to an AFC championship game, did they not?
congratulations. We've been to how many in a row?
Well, okay. I'm just saying
Well,
they were built
well,
to somewhat
okay.
compete. Ryan Tannehill is not an actual quarterback. Derrick Henry is old. They don't have anything left on that offense. Who else do they have left on that offense? They've got no Trey Burke. Sorry, that offensive line is
D
bad. Will
Hop.
Levis, yeah, uh, on his 1 year contract or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So
Hmm.
he's gone. Derrick Henry is out of contract. You've got Will Levis. Congratulations. Who's he throwing it
Derrick
to, and
Henry
who's
to
he being
Dallas,
protected by?
baby.
And then the defense, they just traded away one of their only assets. They've obviously got Simmons on the defensive line, whose contract should be up. They just traded away Kevin Byard to the Eagles. Like that they're in a rebuild. The Titans have nothing. Why would Mike Vrabel want to be around that? He's going to go home to the Patriots, or he's going to go to Atlanta.
It'd be interesting to see him in New England. I think that would be script
The
writer.
rumors, the rumors are it's either him or Gerard Mayo.
Really?
Yep, Gerard Mayo is currently on staff for the New England Patriots.
Former linebacker for them.
Yep.
I
There
see.
is there is a rumor going around, and I there's no validity to it at the moment, but could this be Andy Reid's last season coaching? A lot of people are asking to put their hat in the ring for Mike Vrabel, former Chief.
No, no.
I don't think you marry yourself to a head coach that's on the defensive side. But I like what Vrabel brings to the table. Obviously, I think he fits better with New England culture. But if I'm Vrabel and Atlanta isn't in the opportunity, and I'm looking at New England and then Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes appears, where am I gonna? Where would I rather go? Kansas City.
I mean, sure. I don't want Vrabel, dude.
I like Vrabes. I like him. He's a good coach. He's a good person. The players seem to want to play for him. Um, Seems very charismatic when you can get him away from the coaching. Like he jumps on busing with the boys every so often.
I just want I want someone like a Mike McDaniel or Kyle Shanahan. Like
That would be fun.
I'm although, we've had the success that we've had, I'm kind of envious of because I not that we were a one-trick pony. I don't want to use that phrase, but without Tyreek Hill, we've been kind of boring and we've always kind of had a play calling issue. Okay? We like to get a little too cute on third down, fourth down and short. Always. We're we are much more confident at 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12,
We
rather than
were.
that third. Well, yeah,
We were.
but
Oh, don't act like the Dolphins don't currently have that same issue with Mike McDaniel.
well, I don't know. We got better
Yeah, I
players.
get it. I get it. You want to be cute. You want to throw
We
the
have a
you
better
want to throw
QB.
the chicks dig the long ball. I get it. Like that cool. That's what the offensive coordinator can come in here to do. Head coach is there to manage and build toughness. Give me Vrabes. I like Vrabes. I don't want to see
Manage
Andy
and build
go just yet.
toughness.
I don't want to see Andy go just yet. But
I don't either. But
if that were the case, I wouldn't mind Vrabes coming in. Lastly, one coach who wasn't fired, but he did retire. It's not in the NFL. It is in college. Nick Saban is gone from Alabama. Uh, that's a big blow to Alabama. The AD did ask the
boo
players
hoo.
for 72
The age
hours.
was showing. He was damn near white haired.
I'm, buddy, he dyes his hair.
Correct. He's white haired.
The AD did ask the current players for 72 hours to get to figure out what the plan was going to be. It seemed like Dan Lanning, friend of Tybo, was What was the number one spot, and then Dan Lanning, who said, "We don't do this shit for clicks" when playing against the Colorado Buffalo, then decided to make a video and put it out on Twitter for the clicks to let you know that he was staying in Oregon and not going to Bama.
Yeah,
He's not here for the clicks.
I didn't catch that, but that sounds like him.
Yeah. So he's not going to Bama. The vacancy is still wide open. It's good to see that Bama's not going to be good. The cherry on top to that would be Sarkisian and Arch Manning going to Alabama. I don't like Sarkisian as an individual. I think he's a decent coach. Arch Manning, I can't say anything about him because I don't know him. But I do know a lot about Texas and Texas fans. Fuck you guys. That would be hilarious.
Sarkeesian. I don't know anything about college coaches, but I recognize that name. So props
Well,
to him.
you recognize it because he coached for Alabama, because he was at USC and got fired from USC because he was drinking on the job.
Nice. Sounds like a guy I'd like to hang out with.
I'd just like to see him fuck over Texas.
That's fine by me.